The Chicago Bears, fresh off of a busy trade deadline, will be back in action this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins at home. Who's going to win this matchup? Watch this video to find out. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So if you guys want my thoughts on what's going to happen in each game this year, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. And today I'll be talking about the matchup between the Miami Dolphins, another really tough matchup that the Bears are going to have. We've had three pretty tough matchups now in a row, okay? The Patriots, which we completely blew out somehow. The Cowboys that blew us out by a lot, okay, by 20 points. And now the Miami Dolphins, okay, who are 5-3. Their offense is completely exploding. They have a new head coach, Mike McDaniel, whose offense is doing wonders for, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. So it's going to be a tough game for the Chicago Bears, okay? There's no breaks anymore on our schedule, it seems like, right? Because entering this season, it felt like our schedule was going to be pretty easy, but the AFC East got a lot better. The NFC East also got a lot better, and coincidentally, we're playing both those divisions now while they each got better. So that kind of sucks, but regardless, guys, this season, again, is not about wins or losses anymore, right? As Ryan Poles indicated at the trade deadline, because he traded away two of our better defensive players because they weren't long-term fits on the team, okay? So trading away Roquan Smith, trading away Robert Quinn is obviously going to make the defense worse in the short term, especially trading away Roquan. That's undoubtedly going to be pretty rough for the middle of our defense. Even though Roquan was not playing his best ball this year by any means, like he was not... Yes, he was leading the NFL in tackles, but there was a lot of missed tackles still happening, a lot of bad angles he was taking, getting bullied in the running game. So I wish Roquan the best of luck, but it seemed like long-term it was not going to work out here. That's why the Bears traded him away. But we did acquire a pretty big player too, okay, which obviously you guys know by now. Chase Claypool. Justin Fields finally got some type of help, okay? A big body, tall receiver that he can, throw the ball to, okay? So obviously Chase Claypool is not going to completely change the outcome of our season this year because one player cannot do that. We still have a pretty poor defense, but this offense now is going to be fun to watch, and that's what the season is all about, okay? Developing the young guys and developing Justin Fields, the quarterback, through hopefully better offensive performances as we have seen over the past couple weeks, okay? So the Bears traded some players away. They got a player too. And then the Dolphins at the trade deadline, they were also pretty busy as well. The major trade that they did make is acquiring Bradley Chubb, pass rusher, from the Denver Broncos, which is obviously going to help out their pass rush a lot. But let me talk about the Dolphins now, okay? Give you guys some information about the Dolphins, some stats about their offense. So they rank number 16 in points scored per game, number 7 in yards gained per game, number 3 passing offense, and number 28 rushing offense. So clearly you can see here, guys, that they are one of the best offenses in the NFL, one of the best passing offenses right now. And that's partly because Mike McDaniel has completely changed the culture of this team, okay? The Dolphins used to be a defensive-minded organization under Brian Flores. It seemed like most of their investments were on defense. Well, when they hired Mike McDaniel, because he has a young, bright offensive mind, they acquired, obviously, Tyreek Hill. They got some other pieces on this offensive line. They got Teron Armstead, the left tackle, and Mike McDaniel, being the creative offensive play caller he is, he's getting the most out of Tua in this current scheme, okay? Because obviously Tua before this year was really nothing special, but Tua is letting it up so far this year, okay? So talking about Tua's stats, he's playing very efficient football, and his stats are some of the best in the game right now, okay? So he's passed for 1,678 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, a completion percentage of 70%. So even though Tua, we know he has some limitations, okay? He doesn't have the arm like Justin Herbert or like Patrick Mahomes, but he's making do with what he has, okay? And that's because of the scheme also that he's put in, okay? So he's getting the ball out to receivers in space, and guys like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle are doing a lot of damage after the catch. I'm not trying to hate on Tua, guys, at all, because he's playing very efficient football, like I said, okay? Not turning the ball over, making smart decisions, being pretty accurate for the most part in the middle of the field. His deep accuracy could use some work still, but he's playing pretty good ball right now, okay? So pretty good quarterback play right now. Talking about the receivers then, they have the best receiver duo right now in the NFL. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't know how you possibly cover both of them if you are the Chicago Bears, because no other team has been able to do that so far this year, okay? Tyreek Hill has 961 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, average of 13.9 yards per play. Jalen Waddle has 727 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 17.3 average yards per play. That is absolutely insane, guys. Like, they have just insane numbers. Okay, those two are by far the most targeted players on this Dolphins offense. Both of them are very speedy, very dynamic players that can run a bunch of different routes, that can go 0 to 100 pretty fast. Okay, they have fast acceleration. They have pretty reliable hands too. So it's going to be a tough deal to somehow stop if you're out of the Chicago Bears. The only real threat they have besides Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is Mike Gesicki right now. He has 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. So pretty big factor in the red zone. He has a bigger body. He can go up and get those balls in the red zone. But aside from those three, it's like there's not that many targets going to other guys. Okay, so you have to focus in on these 3 players. But that's proven to be a really tough thing to do because no other team in the NFL has been able to fully stop these players. Okay, the Dolphins do rank number 3 in the NFL in passing yards per game. And when Tua has been healthy, the Dolphins are undefeated. Okay, when Tua has started and finished a game. Okay, the Dolphins have not lost a single game. So really tough matchup, guys, for the Chicago Bears cornerbacks. Talking about their offensive line now, they have an improved offensive line, I would say, from last year, but they still have a major hole right now at right tackle. Okay, Austin Jackson has been injured, not sure if he's going to play this week, and then Greg Little, the replacement, has not been good at all in pass protection. So that's one area where the Bears defense can definitely attack on this Dolphins offensive line. Then talking about their running game, then you can see here, guys, by the stats that they don't have much of a running game this year, but that's partly because they don't have to really run the football because their passing attack is so prolific. Okay, so Raheem Mostert, their number 1 running back, does have 452 yards on the ground. They're averaging 3.9 yards per carry as a team on the ground, which is obviously not good. They're not very efficient running the football, but again, there's no need to really be efficient running the football when you're so efficient passing the football down the field. So that is the Dolphins offense. Let me talk about the Dolphins defense now. They rank number 22 in points allowed per game, number 23 in yards allowed per game, number 26 against the pass, and number 6 against the run. So you can see here, guys, it's not a good defense. Okay, right now they've been playing pretty poorly, at least up to this point this year. Now, they did get Bradley Chubb over the trade deadline. Okay, so I'm not totally sure if he's going to play or not, but I'm assuming he will be because pass rushers don't really need much time to learn the playbook or anything, right? Because they're just rushing the passers. So I'm pretty sure that Bradley Chubb will be playing and he should be helping out a struggling pass rush. But up to this point, okay, the Dolphins have really struggled to pressure the quarterback. They only have 15 sacks on the year, which ranks 23rd. They do have some talent on the defensive line, guys like Jalen Phillips, their draft pick. They have Andrew Van Ginkel playing at a pretty decent level, but they're not converting pressure really into sacks up to this point. And that's why, a lot of teams have passed really well against this defense. Okay, and obviously Bradley Chubb has 5.5 sacks on the year. He's been pretty good for the Broncos, so maybe he does help out this pass rush and maybe change it a little bit, make this a better defense. But I'm not totally sure if one guy can totally fix this defense. And talking about their secondary, the lack of pass rush has really impacted the secondary because they're allowing big plays, big explosive plays in basically every single game. Okay, the Dolphins secondary is allowing 7.3 yards per pass attempt, okay, which ranks in the bottom 5 among the NFL. Cornerback Xavier Howard is having kind of a down year, okay? He's not been as dominant in coverage. The Dolphins defense only has 4 interceptions on the entire year, okay, which is again among the bottom half of the NFL. So not really good stuff right now on the defense. Okay, the Dolphins defense used to be pretty good last year, at least, statistically they were top 10. It's not really been the same case this year, but they're still a winning football team, obviously, because their offense is completely carrying them. And then finally, I do want to talk about their run defense a little bit too, because guys, the Dolphins run defense, even though it does say, they're ranked 6th in the NFL, it's kind of deceiving because teams don't really run against this team because they're able to pass the ball so effectively, okay? So teams run against the Dolphins at the 6th lowest rate in the NFL. They've not been tested yet on the ground because they're relying so many yards through the air, okay? So definitely one area where the Chicago Bears are going to test them because obviously you guys know the Bears have the number 1 rushing attack in football. And speaking of the Chicago Bears, let me talk about the Bears offense now, give you guys some stats about their offense. And again, improving a lot, okay? We've been on the upswing over the past 2 weeks. So the Bears rank now 23rd in points scored per game, number 27 in yards gained per game, number 32 passing offense, number 1 rushing attack. And this offense is actually looking really good as of late, okay? Actually among the top in the NFL over the past 2 weeks, okay? Ever since Luke Getsy made significant changes to the playbook after the bye week, introducing more quarterback runs, doing more play action, doing a lot more stuff that has Justin Fields, outside the pocket. And, even in the pocket, Justin Fields has been improving as a passer. So, a lot of stuff has been working for this Bears offense. And, obviously, guys, now we have Chase Claypool coming in as a new weapon for Justin Fields. Okay, a weapon that Justin Fields probably has never had during his career, okay, in the NFL, because Chase Claypool, guys, is the type of ball-winning, big, 6'4", speedy guy that can win on the outside that the Bears have not had so far, okay? Because Allen Robinson last year, even though he was that type of player, he wasn't playing that good last year, okay? And he was kind of MIA for half of the season because he didn't want to be here. Well, Chase Claypool, even though his numbers are down this year, that's because the Steelers were using him a lot more in the slot than on the outside, where he succeeded wildly over the first couple years of his career. Okay, he had 850 plus yard seasons. He had 9 touchdowns in his rookie year because they were using him on the outside, and he was winning on the outside, okay, making jumping acrobatic catches, toasting DBs, and he can do that for the Chicago Bears offense, which should have you so excited as a Bears fan. Now, it's not going to be pretty probably right away. I don't know how much he's actually going to play a factor in this game, because obviously he did practice this week. So yes, he probably is going to be on the football field, but he still has to learn the playbook. He still has to get timing with Justin Fields. So it might be a little bit rocky at first if he has a couple drops, or if he's not on the same page with Fields. Don't freak out right away, because it does take time to develop those things. But he is a big, big piece, guys, to this Bears offense. And I want to see how the Chicago Bears end up using him, okay? It's probably going to be a lot of playing on the outside, but I could also see him still playing a little bit in the slot, just here and there. Obviously not as much as he was used in Pittsburgh this year, but having a bigger slot guy obviously creates many mismatches that you don't always get, on the inside of the field. So we'll see how the Chicago Bears end up using him. But that is the Bears offense. Obviously, having Chase Claypool is going to be big. Let's see how much he actually ends up playing. I'm not going to expect too much from him right away, but hey, maybe I'm proven wrong, okay? So let me talk about the Bears defense now, okay? The one area where it's kind of flipped, okay? Before I had more fun talking about the Bears defense than the offense. Well, now it's kind of the opposite, okay? So the Chicago Bears defense, after last week's debacle, okay, against the Dallas Cowboys, ranks number 19 in points allowed per game, number 16 in yards allowed per game, number 5 passing defense, number 31 rushing defense. And obviously the Bears made 2 pretty big trades at the trade deadline, okay? Trading away Robert Quinn, that was before the Dallas Cowboys game, and then obviously trading away Roquan Smith, okay, the leading tackler on the Chicago Bears, which, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of my video, that's undoubtedly going to hurt the Chicago Bears defense, okay? There's no way around that. They obviously got worse in the short term, but this does open up opportunities for other younger guys on the Chicago Bears defense, okay? Guys like Jack Sanborn now, okay? A guy that I'm really high on, as you guys know, okay? I've been talking about this guy a lot, hoping he gets more opportunities for the Bears. I thought he'd be starting at this point, because I thought that, he probably would be that, maybe like the Mike or the Sam in this scheme. Well, I think he might be playing the Will now, because Roquan Smith is gone, if he actually ends up winning the job at Will. And obviously he doesn't have the same coverage abilities that Roquan Smith does, okay? He's not as fast, as athletic as Roquan Smith was, but he is a strong, willing tackler and a guy that's fantastic in run support. At least he was in Wisconsin. So if he ends up playing on this Bears defense, I'm really curious to see how he, plays during his rookie year, because in preseason he looked pretty fantastic, okay? Every chance he got, he basically always made plays. So does he improve our running defense? Does he make our passing defense worse? I guess we'll see in this game. And then obviously young guys like Travis Gibson, Dominic Robinson are obviously going to get many more opportunities to rush the passer. Now, they have not been that good as of late, okay? So especially against the run, both Dominic Robinson and Travis Gibson have struggled big time, okay? That's a cause for concern for our entire defense, but hopefully they get something going rushing the passer, okay? Because we don't have much of a pass rush at all right now. We mostly only rush 4, so yeah, we don't blitz that much, because the scheme does not blitz that much, but we have to be getting some type of pressure with 4. Otherwise, we're going to continue to get wrecked on the defensive side of the football. So the Bears defense probably will take a step back for the rest of the year, but I could also be wrong about that, because you never know with young players. Like, what if Jack Sanborn gets in here and starts playing really good football? That's obviously not very likely, because you shouldn't expect big contributions from rookies right away, but it has happened before in history. So not trying to totally give up on this Bears defense, but it probably will be worse rest of the year, just because we lost, guys like Roquan and Robert Quinn. But talking about the 3 keys now to a Bears victory, okay? How can the Chicago Bears win this game against the Miami Dolphins? And key number 1 is going to be to have a more balanced offensive approach, okay? And that does not mean to completely stop running the football, obviously, because we are always going to be a run-heavy, run-first team this year, okay? That's how our personnel is designed for this current year. We have better run blockers than pass blockers on the offensive line. We have better running backs probably than wide receivers. But that's kind of starting to change right now, right? Because we traded for Chase Claypool, a legit weapon on the outside. And I want to see the playbook adjust accordingly, okay? Especially against a weak defense, weak passing defense like the Miami Dolphins. You should be able to pass the football against this team, okay? There's no longer going to be as many excuses for not being able to pass the football because we do have a weapon now in Chase Claypool, and we're going up against a pretty porous pass defense. Now, again, though, it's going to start with running the football, okay? We're still probably going to see much more runs in this game than passes, but it should be a little bit more 50-50 now because we have Chase Claypool, because we're going up against a poor pass defense, and also because we're going to have to score a lot of points in this game if we want to keep up with the Miami Dolphins' prolific offense. Key number 2, okay, secure tackles in space. You're going to have to make tackles and secure tackles against this team because the Dolphins, man, they do a lot of damage after the catch. Okay, both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are top 10 in the NFL in terms of yards after the catch. So if you're missing tackles like we did last weekend against the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to allow 49 points again, okay? I'm not even kidding. That's going to happen if we can't tackle in space, if we don't take the right angles, if we're not swarming to the ball carrier like we weren't against the Dallas Cowboys. So there's no way to truly stop this passing attack the Dolphins have because I feel like we don't necessarily have the personnel for that. We don't have the defensive line, the pass rushers to do that. But at least limit the damage you're going to do after the catch by tackling well in this game, okay? Which we didn't do last weekend against the Cowboys. So that's key number 2. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to find a way to get some type of pressure on Tua in this game. Again, I just mentioned that we don't have a very good defensive line. We don't have great pass rushers right now, but you're going to have to find a way, Allen Williams, to get some type of pressure on the quarterback because the Bears right now are ranking bottom 5 in terms of sacks and pressures per game. Okay, that's not good enough. And against a quarterback like Tua that's getting the ball out super quick, that's not a good combination, okay? So you're going to have to find a way, man, Allen Williams, by either blitzing or sending different stunts or doing something to get some type of pressure on the quarterback. I know it's super hard because we don't have the guys up front, but do something to get some type of pressure on Tua. Otherwise, we're going to allow a lot of points in this game. And then lastly, let me talk about my score prediction. Who do I have win this game? And unfortunately, guys, I do have the Chicago Bears losing to the Miami Dolphins by a score of 32-28. Again, I hate to pick against the Bears. I never want to see the Bears lose, but realistically, guys, this Dolphins offense is probably too good for our defense to stop, okay? And I do think our offense will actually put together a pretty good performance. So putting together 28 points, guys, I feel like the fans at Soldier Field will be pretty happy about that because we have just not seen that many points being scored at Soldier Field. And we should be able to put these points together because the Dolphins don't have a great pass defense. So I do think that Justin Fields can have a pretty good game in this one. Our offense should hopefully be humming like it was the last 2 weeks. Maybe Chase Claypool gets in for a touchdown. That would be really fun to see, but I don't think we have the defensive talent to stop this very explosive Dolphins offense. So I see us losing in a kind of a shootout, okay? 32-28 shootout. As for my offensive MVP of this game, I'm actually going to go with Darnell Mooney, okay? Because he's the guy that benefits the most besides Justin Fields from having Chase Claypool on the football field, because before adding him, you know, all the attention was solely focused on Mooney because he was the only guy that could win matchups on the outside. Well, now we have another guy in Chase Claypool, so all the attention will not be drawn solely on Mooney, which is why I think that Mooney is going to have a pretty good stat line in this game, okay? 85 yards and a touchdown. As for my defensive MVP, I'm going to go with Travis Gibson, okay? I do think he actually gets a sack in this game because the right tackle of the Dolphins has not been that good in pass protection, okay? His first step has been pretty slow as well. So against a speeder guy in Travis Gibson, a guy that can accelerate pretty well, I think that Travis Gibson does finally get to the quarterback and adds to the stat sheet for the Chicago Bears defense. So those are my predictions for the game. Let me know your predictions down below in the comments. Who do you think is going to win this game? What do you think Chase Claypool is going to do in his first game as a Chicago Bear? I cannot wait to see that. And obviously, I hope I'm wrong on this prediction because I never like to pick the Chicago Bears to lose games. But it will not hurt to lose this game that much if Justin Fields does have a good performance, if our offense does do pretty well, because this year is all about the development of our quarterback and hopefully getting a better offense on the field while we try to, you know, make a better roster over the offseason. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. If you're going to this game, I hope you have fun. But as always, bear down.